Start with pledges of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our vision statement is connecting, engaging, and growing. Right here. Next item is the consideration of agenda amendments or deletions.
So we do not have any for this evening.
Okay. Now, the best part of the meeting is good news from around the district.
I am going to go ahead and start tonight. I received an email from Annette Armstrong Williams, who's the director of the adult basic education here in Madison County. And they received an additional grant allocation for their adult basic education grant. And she sent me an email thanking me for our support and help with overseeing the grant. And she says, thank you for all your continued support that Elwood Community Schools has provided to our adult ed program. I appreciate Elwood Community Schools and our partnership more than you know. We have already met all the goals posted to be awarded a program of excellence again this year at the IAACE conference in the fall. I've recently added new WEI course to our program, and I'm currently working on another as well as a pre-apprenticeship. We also just celebrated Adult Ed Day at the State House on Wednesday, where Governor Braun spoke in support of Indiana adult education. There was an awesome turnout despite the weather. We all continue to advocate for and champion Indiana adult education. So that is nice, and just wanted to share that with the board. So, we're going to save the elementary for last, save the best for last. The high school career center, who's back there wants to go next?
No, Abby's here.
Oh, there's Abby. Hey, you want to go?
Sure. So the intermediate school last year brought back the spelling bee, and I unfortunately missed it while I was out on maternity leave, so I was excited to be a part of it this year. We had several rounds. I was told it went longer this year than it did last year, so the kids really put the time into practice. We even had several third graders that went multiple rounds into the spelling bee, which was exciting. In the end, we did have a sixth grader, Emma Cudmore, who came out on top and will be going to the Ball State Regional Spelling Bee in April. So we're excited for her to go and do that. We are getting excited here in just about a week and a half. We will be having our EIS art show and drama presentation, Super Spies and Pizza Pies, on March 5th and 6th in the auditorium. So if any of you are available to come by, Mrs. Haas always does an excellent job with the middle school drama group. So they are practicing their lines and getting ready for that. And the art show will be going on outside of the auditorium area as well. Parent-teacher conferences. This was the first time we did them in this time of year, and they went really well. Parents did have some questions in the beginning. Why are we doing this again? But it was great to have them in and share the data and how we're doing and where things were going towards the end of the year. So it's exciting to get to have more in-depth conversations than what we do at the beginning.
So at the Career Center during the month of February, we have been celebrating CTE month. So locally, we have had a lot of things going on social media. I don't know if you follow us. If you don't, please do. For a number of reasons, see all the things that are happening, but also we're close to 1,000 followers. So it is above 1,000. So we've had daily media that all the students have been scanning a QR code. And trying to see if they can answer questions from other programs. And then that enters them, if they get it correct, it enters them into a drawing at the end of the week for a prize, because that's fun, right? In our construction trade class, so this has been over a month ago now, but last month I didn't share good news because we had our presentation. The construction class built a training facility in this building for the fire and rescue and EMS class. for them to do some of our drills. So that was good to have them getting into doing those kinds of projects. Our health science class, our CNA class started their clinical rotation, which is another one of those steps towards getting their CNA certification. So it is coming. And lastly, for this month, our NTHS students are in the process of meeting the requirements to be inducted into National Technical Honor Society. So a new initiative that we started last year was making one of the requirements for them to meet a certain number of service hours as just another way to make them step up their game a little bit, we'll say. And I share this because we got an email from Julie Wren, who's the director at the Catalyst Youth Center, that was worth sharing a little snippet from. A lot of our students have been going to the Catalyst Youth Center to volunteer, and she wanted to brag a little bit on, I'm not going to mention any names, but on a couple of students specifically who she said she had to step out of the room for 1 second and came back into the room to hear one of the volunteers enforcing an expectation appropriately instead of sticking to the, like, I'm just going to be the fun guy kind of scenario, which was one of the, she said, it's one of those things that you don't necessarily think is that big of a deal. But in those kind of circumstances, it really is a lot bigger than it appears. How seriously the students were taking that role and being that positive role model.
At the junior senior high school, winter sports are wrapping up as we speak. I think we have boys sectional. We host that next week. Our boys and girls swimming have competed in the sectional. Our girls basketball, they played a thriller. I think it was a overtime or double overtime game over Little Hell. That was just fun to watch our kids compete. And then the winter sports have been highlighted. Miles Lobb and Layton Morgan, they competed at the Newcastle Semi-State just this past weekend. And so they had a good season and they both returned for us, which is great. Anthony Medina and Johnny Neese, they are Elwood students that attend the crossing over in Noblesville. They were nominated for Work-Based Learner of the Year in Indiana. There were only 20 students that were nominated for this. It was won by a college student, which really doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But it was a huge honor for those two young men who have just grown into great young men, and they're doing great things over the crossing. So it was cool for them to have that honor. They were honored. They had a luncheon last week where they were honored for their efforts in the field of work-based learning. And then finally, our choir students, they competed at the ISMA, I think it was semi-state again, just this past, or 2 weeks ago, February 7th. Every single one of our students that participated earned a gold rating, which is awesome. We had 3 of our vocalists, Layla Strong, Leah Dunlap, and Olivia Rexford. They advanced as soloists. And then our Crimson Sweet girls, they received a gold rating as well, and they are advancing to state. And they were a half a point away from a perfect score, which is just awesome. And so they've been working to refine, and the state, ISMA State is Saturday. So we'll get to see how they do.
Thank you. Mr. Savage, do you have anything from the ECTA?
This is that time of the year where before we know it, many of the grades will be testing, and so a lot of the teachers are pouring their heart and soul into the students to get them ready to pass that test. And for third grade, multiple tests.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Thank you. Well, with no further ado, Mrs. Brophy.
Hey, we have second grade teachers, Mrs. Ogdenbach, Mrs. Hughes, Mrs. Harbert, and Mrs. Jones here. And then they have brought some of our second grade friends. They have brought Lexi and Levi and Hayden and Ashley and Emmy. They are all here to talk a little bit about life cycles from their knowledge unit. So I will turn it over to them.
So we go over all sorts of different life cycles. So our knowledge is kind of an extension of our reading block. So we have our normal 90-minute reading block, and then we have a couple times a day where we go deeper into actual knowledge that is real life things. So we brought some examples of some different things that we have done in class. We've got kids that have some different parts of it. I'm going to pick on mine. Hayden, you can come on up. And she has been nervous all day, so be friendly. All right, so you will see Mrs. Harbert has brought the next stage of this, but this is what these plants started out as, just a seed wrapped in some paper towel. Yes, just normal seeds, right? And they all were kind of different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
It doesn't matter if they're different, they're all colors different, and they're just gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So they're all different sunflowers. So we've got lots of different stages. But, so I wanted to show the beginning of this and then what an extra kind of week did. My room is shadier than everyone else, so mine are not as awesome as some of the others. But I bought some grow lights and they came today, so we're gonna make it sunny in my room. So Hayden is going to share and she's gonna come around and show you the different,
frog light.
there we go. All right, so what do we have?
First we have our little tadpoles, right?
Yeah, and you can walk through there and show them so you can see the eggs as they go.
Very cool. Wow. Very cool.
Alright, so we've got the eggs and then the tadpole. Yeah, tadpole.
And then we have our other tadpole.
Yeah, with getting those back legs, right?
Sprouts. Starting to get legs.
Yeah, and we've done this unit a little bit differently throughout the years. A couple years ago, we actually purchased 100 tadpoles and we had them growing in class. I think now there are 2 surviving that are still living that didn't succumb to living in a tank for a little while. So
And this
that's a froglet, right?
is froglet.
A froglet.
There's the frog's tail.
Tail.
And then it turns into a real frog. It loses its tail.
Amazing.
Very, very
Nice. Do you want to show them the little plants?
So these are our
Uh-huh.
home plants. You see, this one is starting to grow. It's out of its seed shell. You can see at the bottom. And then this one is also growing. The seed shell is up here, and the head of it comes down. So you can see that too. And then soon they're going to be sunflowers.
Great, great job, Hayden. Thank you so much.
Then we transitioned from the frog life cycle to talking about the life cycle of a plant. And so we did start our seeds in the window, and then we talked about what kind of seeds are we growing?
Sunflowers.
Sunflowers. And do you remember the other kind?
Impatient.
And so what kind of plant is that? It's a little. Yep.
This is a sunflower.
Yep. So we planted a little seed, and we'll show both at the same time. And then we talked about, what is that called? Do you remember?
The sprout.
Yep. So you want to walk around, you can show them the seed and the sprout. And that was the part. Do you remember that big G word, Emmy? Germany. Yeah, so we talked about germinate and how our seeds germinate. Did all of our seeds germinate, Emmy?
Not all of them.
Yeah, not all of them. And we talked about how not all the time do all the seeds germinate, and some of them took longer, right? They did take a long time. Okay, so those were the first 2 life cycles, and then we talked about how the plant became a little Yep, a little sprout, yeah. And then it turned into a full plant. So you can show them our sprouts. They sprouted pretty quickly. Do you remember how many days it took?
It felt like 10.
Yeah. It was pretty 10 to 14 days, so somewhere around there. And yours came up quickly. And so we can show them Easton's plant. I was gonna bring Emmy's, but we took them outside yesterday to kind of harden them up. Yeah. What is that?
They're both sunflowers.
Yeah. His impatience didn't come up, so we had 2 sunflowers in that one. And so what did we do with them yesterday? Where did we set them?
Outside.
And do you remember why?
So they could get more light.
Yeah, we put them outside to get more light and more wind. And then we took, your beautiful artwork upside down. We took our plants and what did we do? We took these papers. What did we do with them?
We made a life cycle of a plant. And first it starts as a seed, then it grows to germinating.
Yeah.
Then it has a little sprout, and then it makes a beautiful flower.
Yeah, and then we talked about why is that a cycle? What happens?
Because it repeats and repeats
Yeah,
over again.
Because the flower dies and repeats. Good work. Thank you, Abby.
All right, another cycle that we talked about here was the life cycle of a chicken. And we talked about how it was similar and different from a frog's life cycle. And so what does a chicken start as?
It starts as an egg.
As an egg. And they usually are in nests, aren't they? And then hold on, let's do their next one. After the eggs, what happens to them?
It hatches.
It hatches. You want to walk that around and show them our egg hatching? And then you do these 2. And I'll hold that and you can show them your craft. How you want. Okay, and then after it hatches and it gets all dried off, because we watched a chicken and it's a time lapse video of it drying off. And it became what?
A chick.
A chick. Oh, hey, he's gonna do those, and then you can show the crafts. Oh, you wanna share? Okay, and then the chick grows into, what's it going to, Lexi? Where are you going? Into a?
Hen or a chicken.
A hen or a rooster. All right, you wanna go walk those 2 rounds? Awesome.
Now, did they practice crowing like a rooster?
They did not. A lot of them did practice coming out of an egg though.
Yeah, so in my class, I also have, coming in April, I hatch real chickens. So kids get to come in and they get to see the actual erupting through the egg. And we have learned, Hayden and I talked about this a lot, how quiet we have to be, because if the kids are noisy in the classroom, they will not hatch. They will wait until they leave. So it's funny when they go off to specials and things like that, then you'll see the egg moving more and when it's a really quiet environment. So the other classes are able to come and see those freshly hatched chickens. And they stay for a couple days and then they go live at the farm. But don't worry, I don't keep them very long. And but it's really fun for them they learn about this a little bit earlier, and then they actually get to see some of that happening. So,
And then to show our learning, we did a craft. And Levi, do you want to explain it? What did we do?
So we glued the fold paper on the paper. Then we cut out the egg. Then we put it on the fold paper. Next, we cut out the big white egg.
Then we do the googly eyes on. Then we cut out an orange, and then we did like coffee, like
A coffee filter.
the coffee filter for the wings. Then we cut out some orange instruction paper. Then we drew another eyeball. Then I drew feet. Then I painted my hand brown and to a blue.
And now turn and show him. You did so
Very
good.
good.
Very cool. Look
Very good.
Oh,
Good job. Very good. Good job.
really stuck on. That's He's trying to get to take your phone so you can sit down.
Alright, and then another cycle that we did the life cycle of the butterfly. And Ashley came prepared and also has things to show for our life cycle of a butterfly. My classroom actually had the opportunity back in I want to say it was September, where we had a donation of a chrysalis. And so my class got to actually watch the chrysalis hatch and turn into a butterfly, and then we got to release them outside and watch it fly away. So we had some background knowledge going into this unit, seeing the life cycle of the butterfly in real life, and then getting to learn about it in our stories. So Ashley, if you want to go ahead and start with our first cycle, you've got that. Our first stage in our cycle. So what is our first stage of our life cycle of a butterfly?
The egg.
The egg. You want to go show everyone the egg that it starts out with?
It's so teeny. Yeah.
And then what happens after the egg hatches?
And then they hatch into the larva.
Into the larva, yes, good use of vocabulary. And what's that larva called of a butterfly?
Caterpillar.
Caterpillar. You want to show everyone the larva of the caterpillar?
Right, yeah. One way cuter than the other one.
And then what does the caterpillar do?
And then it turns into a chrysalis.
You want to show everyone the chrysalis that forms? What's happening inside this chrysalis, Ashley?
Turning into a butterfly.
It's turning out very cool. Inside there.
And then what happens after a few days, after it has formed?
It turns into a butterfly.
I want to show everyone that final stage.
Beautiful. My husband's afraid of butterflies.
And then do you want to show everyone the full life cycle together on that paper plate? How we see the little pasta shells can represent all the stages in the life cycle of the butterfly. So you want to go around and show everyone that and how that works? Good job, Ashley. And
Another cycle that we talked about was the water cycle. What we like to do in our classrooms is we love to incorporate songs because the students absolutely love them, and you will catch them singing them in the hallways. And so we know it's stuck with them because they're singing these songs and they're retaining what is being said in these songs. And so we have a water cycle song that we showed them that goes over it.
Are you ready? Water cycles, just big words.
Travels in a cycle, yes it does. Water travels in a cycle, yes it does. It goes up as evaporation, forms clouds as condensation, and falls down as precipitation, yes it does. Travels in a cycle, yes it does. Water travels in a cycle, yes it does. It goes up as evaporation, forms clouds as condensation, and falls down as precipitation, yes it does.
Was Mrs. Brophy singing? I couldn't tell.
Oh, yes.
Well, thank you all very much. Does that conclude your
Yes.
good news?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you all very much for coming.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the board meeting if you'd like.
It's riveting.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks for coming. Thank you for coming.
Good job.
Good job. Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Thanks for coming. That last teacher that gave me a hug was my youngest daughter. Didn't know if you guys knew that or not.
Wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, the last teacher was my youngest daughter.
That's cool.
I think,
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on you people for all this participation from the rest of the people.
And you'll be performing what?
Yeah, are we singing? Dancing? What we doing?
We'll give you a free ticket.
Morbid curiosity says yes at this point.
Turn the camera
No,
off.
there's gotta be dancing, and this is not getting snapped.
Camera's gonna go off.
We'll give you a few minutes to work out the choreography.
Yeah. Set the flash mob though.
actually, here shortly, Policy Analytics, April from Policy Analytics is going to give a presentation, and we're going to put it to music.
Good.
Yes.
It's like, never mind, I'm going.
We've got about 3 minutes. All right. That brings us to the public comment section. Are there any public comments? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
The consent agenda includes the cash flow report along with minutes from the executive session on January 15th, along with the regular board meeting minutes on January 15th and February 3rd. Accounts payable claims totaling $1,336,275.06. Payroll claims totaling $1,221,048.19. We have a donation of $50 from Tri Kappa to the Fax Lab. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries.
That brings us down to old business and the 26-27 calendar.
Yes, I have before you a proposed revision to the 26-27 calendar, and then also the 20 changes then that would be to the 26-27 Heinz calendar that would align with the 26-27 ECS calendar. The reason this is old business is because the board previously approved the 26-27 calendar. We reconvened with representation from the ECTA, the athletic department, the career center, as well as building administration, and looked at the calendar to make some changes to better accommodate the career center schedule as well as the athletic schedule, with keeping in mind the academic calendar to not start the school year until August and end it by Memorial Day. And in doing so, we've made some adjustments that's going to extend spring break to better accommodate athletics in the career center. And so I have before you a proposed revision to the Elwood Community School calendar for 26-27 and the Heinz calendar for 26-27.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Personnel report. We have a recommendation for new hires of Linnea Drown as an alternative IA at the elementary, and Brett Rogers as a bus driver for the corporation. And then transfers, Alexis Jeffries transferring from an IA classroom support to adding music IA to her job responsibilities. And then separations of Rachel Brown from the developmental preschool program, Madeline Hatfield from the elementary as the music kindergarten IA, Connor Pearson as an alternative IA at the elementary.
So that, this was a later ad, the music IA is a position that will be supporting a music teacher, or is that?
No, actually, that is actually teaching a music section during the day.
All right.
Yes. But it's not a certified licensed teaching position. It's a support position to teach that.
Okay, good. Any questions? If not, we have a motion to approve.
It's approved. Second.
Motion made, seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, and opposed nay. Motion carries. Now, have you got the background music ready?
I'm queuing it up now.
Nobody wants any of that. Nobody wants.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's wasn't gonna be a third.
Do you want me to pull that up onto
That
there?
would be great.
Yep.
If not, I have my computer and I can.
Nope, I can do it.
Okay.
It's the one you emailed me, I
Yep.
assume. Yep.
Hopefully it translates okay. Sometimes PDF gets a mind of its own, but.
It's okay. And I apologize, but I messed something up there, so I'm not gonna be able to put it onto there. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought, how am I gonna follow that? Like, that was a tough show to follow. Like, they are too darn cute and fun things going on, so, yeah, I'm glad, I'm really sad I gotta follow that. I wish I had better news. Make it rhyme. Yeah,
Just be glad the kids aren't here watching your presentation.
right. They'd be sleeping and begging to go home, so they'd be bored out of their minds.
I'm having trouble seeing where's the slideshow one. Well, oh, there we
I
go.
got one.
There we go.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you for having me. I'm gonna be very conscious of our time here. April Fitterling, Policy Analytics. We take parcel level data analysis and help forecast revenue projections, tax impacts, and we'll talk about Senate Enrolled Act 1 tonight and talk about the impact to the district, and then the impact to the cash flows, what the cash flows look like, and then some options for the district to go forward. So starting out, the first page of the presentation is just a reminder of what SEA 1 is. So we have a couple different deduction changes. The homestead deductions are increasing. The 2% cap class has new deductions that were not there prior. And switching from deductions to credits, we have a homestead credit, which is a 10% or $300 max credit that will be applied to homeowners' liabilities. We have business personal property tax changes, and that's if a business has personal property 2 million and below, it's pulled out of the net assessed value calculation. And just quickly for the district, that's about 13 million in 2027 coming out of that net assessed value. And then the business personal property floor changes. So any new equipment that is purchased, it'll follow the depreciation scale now close to zero. It used to stay flatlined at 30%. So that's not in the calculations because we don't know what businesses are going to get creative, and then we know they will, to end up paying less taxes. So just keeping that in mind as we go forward. Then a few farmland assessment changes, capitalization rate from 8 to 9%, and then other small deductions. So big list of what SEA 1 is, just as a summary. And so looking at Elwood, its tax-based profile, you can see you have 4 taxing districts. They're all different sizes. Majority is your Elwood City. And your median AV, when we did this report, was 84,100. 79% of your parcels are at the tax cap. So what that means is there is significant circuit breaker loss. Because each of those categories, they're at their max liability. That's 1, 2, or 3% of their gross assessed value. And so we'll take a look at what that looks like for revenues in the next few pages. The next slide is just a visual. Okay, it's not wanting to pop up. We have nice pie charts in there of showing what your gross assessed, your net assessed, and your net assessed without TIF looks like as the district. We can skip past that one. It's mainly residential. Spoiler, there's a lot of residential. So looking at your assessed value going forward. So what happened in 2026? I believe that was an 8% growth in there. We saw 12% growth in residential apartments and commercial. The Department of Local Government Finance did a reset to the calculation of their gross assessed value. So there was a larger one-time bump in those categories. So just looking at gross assessed value, it did grow in 2026. And then next slide, where it's trend. Oh boy, that did not transition very well. So as you can see, your gross assessed value, it follows the market trend for home sales. And so we did see some historic growth in 22 and 2023, but it's come back down to more of an organic growth in home sale pricing, 24, 25. And what we're projecting to go forward is that gross assessed value to climb about 3.2%. So next slide, we'll see gross assessed value as it's been trending upward. Net assessed value has kind of followed that parallel-ish. When we hit 26 with these new deductions being put into place, that's where we start to see that divide of net assessed value. So for net assessed value, we did see growth in 26, but going forward, as these deductions start to be implemented and grow, we do see an average of about 0.1% growth, which is pretty much a flatline growth in your net assessed value. So instead of growing like it would have, it's pretty flatline. If we look at the next slide, you can see the first year, which is next year, 2027 is when that business personal property tax comes out of the net assessed value calculation. That's where we see that biggest dip. and then pretty flat line of NAV going forward. So what does that mean? So as net assessed values were climbing in the past, your tax rate could stay the same and you'd get a little more revenue to keep up with inflationary costs, or at least along the parallel line. So, or at least be increasing. As we see net assessed values decreasing, I wonder if you just stayed in this view.
No, well, what I did was, I had opened it in Google, and that was a mess. And so I just downloaded it to PowerPoint, which is what so now all your things should be
right.
nice and pretty.
Perfect. Yes,
There's
see pie charts. Yes, highly residential. Perfect. So let's just keep.
I can keep going now. I just
Yes.
tell me when to
wonderful.
stop.
So yeah, 8.6% gross assessed value growth. Gross assessed value is going to continue to trend to climb. Next slide, we'll see net assessed value. It's pretty flatlined from 27 to 2031. And then once we have the new deduction floor, we'll start to see net assessed value start to trend back upward. So next slide, we do show that business personal property in 27 coming out, and then pretty flatlining until 23. So then next slide, we talk about revenue scenarios. So like I said, as net assessed values were trending upward and climbing, we were able to generate additional revenue, keeping tax rates the same. Well, now with the deduction changes and the homestead credits being implemented, our revenue projections are going to look a little different. And this first slide is talking about unfunded credits. The blue line, the blue portion, navy blue, that is the traditional circuit breaker loss to your operations fund. The orange is debt service, and then on this, it's kind of looks a little gray, but that is the orange is debt service, and then the blue below that in 2026 is your operations fund. Those two new, impact bars at the top, those are the homestead credit that's being implemented, and then that navy blue is that traditional circuit breaker. So, telling the story from 25 to 26. 26, actually traditional circuit breaker dips down a little bit. That's due to those deductions driving down some net assessed values, driving down some homeowners below their tax caps. But it's backfilled slightly with that homestead credit. So as that homestead credit continues to grow, and then as assessed values are growing on our homes, that traditional circuit breaker climbs right back up. And you can see in 2028, we have the property tax relief credit that is going away. That's part of that LIT that is being eliminated in 2028. So unless anything changes in legislation for 2027, that property tax relief credit, when that goes away, that creates additional circuit breaker loss for the district. And you can see that bump. The first bar graph is if the debt service is not protected. So you can see the debt service had an unfunded credit growth in 26 due to that new homestead credit. Somebody forgot to protect that because debt service is protected right now from the traditional circuit breaker loss. But it's in legislation. We just don't know the timing of it. We are just modeling it in 26 on the right side just to show you what the impact could be to your operations fund, because all of it will then transition to operations. So looking at the revenue we're not going to receive, and then in the next slide, taking a look at what our certified levies are. So you take your certified levy, subtract out your unfunded credits, and that's what gets you your net levy. You can see we're holding steady the debt service levy from 26 onward. In the certified operations, we're having the certified grow at 4%. That's what it's set at currently. You subtract out the unfunded credits, looking at your net levies. So we do see when that traditional circuit breaker loss dipped down a little bit, we do see operations levy grow in 2026, about 300,000. But then going forward, as the debt service fund is protected, those unfunded credits grow and traditional circuit breaker continues to grow, we see our operations fund revenue decrease. And almost by 2028, because if you look at operations Net levy in 2028, it says 702, but you have to take about 75,000 off of that if the debt service fund is protected. And so you are actually going to be receiving less revenue in your operations fund in 2028 than you did in 2025. So that's due to that unfunded credit and traditional circuit breaker loss growth. So what's happening? Our operations fund revenue, which is already impacted by huge circuit breaker loss. Like I said, 80% of your parcels are at the cap. So we see huge circuit breaker loss, decrease in our operations fund revenue. And because net assessed values are pretty flatline, just to receive those levies at a decreasing rate, tax rate will have to increase to even generate those revenues. So due to net assessed value, times your rate gets your levies, and as net assessed value is driving down, rates have to increase to keep those levies flat. So what are some things that I think I have one more slide, and that's going to talk about the taxpayer. So this taxpayer in Elwood City, they are at their caps. So just modeling what Senate Enrolled Act 1 is kind of doing to the homestead taxpayer, you can see we've broken out the liability. You can see their gross assessed value continues to grow. The standard deduction did increase for 2026, supplemental deduction increased. So their actual net assessed value, yes, it is slightly less than it would have been pre-Senate Enrolled Act 1 if that supplemental deduction hadn't grown. And then they have their property tax relief credit, their circuit breaker impact, and then that post circuit breaker credit, that 8380, that is that homestead credit, 10% or $300 max. So yes, they're paying about $6.20 more than they were in 2025, but they're at least not paying that additional almost $84. So that's just the layout of a property tax kind of liability for you. And because we didn't change the assessment system, their assessed values are going to continue to climb. But so are their deductions over the next 5 years. So next slide, we'll talk about cash flows. So taking a look at the cash flows, you can talk revenues all day long, but when you plug those revenues and projected revenues into the cash flows, it says, what does that actually look like cash balance wise? So for 2025, ending cash balance, education operations, about 3.2 million. 2026, we have some assumptions built in. We do have a 1.5% state tuition increase. ADM, we have it flatlined currently. We'll just keep an eye on that, what happens annually, and we'll make adjustments and plug them into the cash flows. We have the fixed debt service levy, and we've also not modeled that debt fund being protected. So when the debt fund is protected, just automatically subtract 75,000 off those ending cash balances. So looking at this, and sorry, we have two more expenditure assumptions, 2% salary and benefit increases and 3 to 5 for utilities. And that's something we'll keep an eye on as we go along through the next year. We're building 26 assumptions as we speak. So looking at this by 2027, you do see where that deficit has grown significantly and put it into a negative cash balance. So as we talk cash flows, we're like, okay, what can we do to either slow down that expenditure train and make some cost reductions or increase our revenues? And the only other option is an operating referendum. So really, these are the two financial options that districts have. And I'm going to say maybe almost 3, which would be a combination of both cost reductions and then potential operating referendum. So as we take a look at the next slide, all right, I need to speed it up here. So we wanted to model what 400,000 would look like to the district. So yes, we have modeled 400,000 in cost reductions starting in 26-27 school year. Essentially what that does, it does kick the can down the road almost one more year, leaving a positive cash balance, but barely positive cash balance in 2027. So just to give you a visual of what those cuts would look like. So as we then take a look at the next slide, we wanted to review what makes up the expenditures for the school district. And as you can see, largest expenditures and an expenditure comparison over the last 5 years, salary and benefits. So if we are talking cost reductions, that's where our main, what we call big rocks are to save or make some cost reductions. It's going to either be in those two categories. And then looking at the next slide, where are those expenditures going, not just salary and benefits, but broken down into a little more detail. You can see the growth in special education. Expenditures across the state in special education have skyrocketed over the years. Educational support, general education, large expenditures. There is some cost savings we've noticed in administrative support and transportation. So looking at those, dollars are going to the classroom in educational expenditures where they should be. So next slide, as we continue to kind of talk about what our two options are, Policy Analytics is able to, like I said before, pull parcel level data and then give you some assumptions of what a potential operating referendum would look like and what the impact to the tax rate for the referendum and the taxpayer impact. So we just started out with saying, okay, we know our cash balance is going to dip. What does it look like to run a $2 million or a $2.5 or a $3 million operating referendum? What could sustain cash flows and what would that look like? And you can see the 2, 2.5, and 3 million, what the cash flow projection is. So, and this does include those 400,000 in reductions. If that did not happen, it would obviously make a difference in the cash flows. So then what does it look like rate-wise if you looked at a $2, 2.5, or $3 million operating referendum? So you can see I'm just going to throw a range out there. The range in 2027 could be 49 cents to just under 74 cents. You see, because the net assessed value is kind of flatline, it pretty much flatlines over the next few years, and then a slight decrease in the ending portion of the life of the referendum. And then looking at the final slide of the referendum impact. So what would be the annual impact? And we did this on the median homestead. We ran this just a week and a half ago. And as that new data comes in, the median homestead for the Elwood Township was 83.8. And so taking this impact for the median homestead, it ranges from $123 to $123 to 200 and probably 43 through the life of the referendum. I just want to make sure I didn't cut off too many years. So 243 maximum and 123 minimum for the median homestead gross assessed value 83.8. So looking at those three options, it's just a starting point just to say what would it even look like for the district, and know if you have a different homestead assessed value. Obviously these amounts would change. You had a larger gross assessed value, and it's gross assessed value minus all the deductions gives you your net assessed value, and that's what this would be, the rate would be taxed on. So just looking at this is just kind of a first push to say where would we even start? What does this look like? What do our cash flows look like? What do the rates look like, and what are the taxpayer impacts? So I think I flew through that very quickly, but it gives you kind of a where the cash flows are at. A couple of options: cost reductions, operating referendum. Cost reductions are easier said than done, especially when majority of your expenditures are in people. And I mean, that's every district. Majority of your expenditures are your people. So so the other option is operating referendum, and hopefully that can give you kind of a starting point and thought-provoking discussion going forward. So any questions for me? Sorry, I went a little bit long.
Too late to bring your kids back.
We really should have kept up. Advancing distraction. Yes.
Building principals, there'll be a quiz over all of this information on Monday.
Can we bring the kids with us?
Right. Well, there will be much more further discussion down the road, and if you have any questions, just reach out. Happy to help.
This is very helpful to kind of put a framing around the whole situation, so this will get us started.
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is,
Trying to figure out how to get my
we already,
computer back.
we didn't, these are the 27, 28 calendars.
Hold on just a second here, I think. Okay. Yeah, so this is, the next item is the 27, 28 calendars. And so the 26, 27 calendars that the revisions that the board just approved, this is taking those revisions and just rolling them over to the 27, 28 calendar. And it's still, thank you, be safe going on. And same parameters that I shared with the 26, 27 is we're not starting school until August. We're ending by Memorial Day, having the 2-week spring break, the 1-week fall break. And so I would ask that the board approve the 27, 28 calendar as well.
Okay, a motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. February ADM report.
Yes, this is just a report for the board to show that our ADM did drop by 18 students from the October count to the February count. However, 14 of those 18 were due to students completing their educational programming. And so 12 of those were early graduates, and 2 of those just completed their educational programming. And so of the drop in 18, 14 of those were because of students finishing school. And this was just the net. We had a number of move-outs and a number of move-ins, as is typically the case in Indiana school nowadays. I just wanted to share that information with the board. Any questions about that?
No, apparently not. I'm still digesting it.
Yeah.
Next item, EIS bleachers.
Yes, have the bleachers. I have a recommendation to replace the bleachers at Elwood Intermediate. Those are the original bleachers from 1988, 89, when the building was installed. And so these new bleachers will bring everything up to current ADA codes. And that gymnasium is a multi-purpose room for the intermediate. It gets used a lot for classroom activities, combos, community events, as well as middle school sporting events. And so we'll use bond money to replace these bleachers.
Yeah, and that facility is getting a lot more use now than it has in the past, right?
Yes, it's used around the clock.
Oh.
Good.
When are they gonna do it?
Over spring break.
Hey, we have a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Gotta be quicker, Chad.
Yeah.
Gotta be quicker.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Additional appropriations.
Oh, no, we have the Chromebook refresh first.
Oh, missed that.
That's okay.
Student Chromebook.
Yeah, we're continuing. This is our 3rd year, I think, on doing the Chromebook refresh of just 3 grade levels rather than purchasing for the entire corporation. And so this is a quote to replace 3 grade levels of Chromebooks. Good news is the ERC last night approved to allocate to provide TIF money to the school district to cover the cost of these Chromebooks.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Chromebooks.
Second.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Now we go to additional appropriations.
Yes, we need ask the board to pass a resolution to approve additional appropriations to the operations fund and a resolution to approve additional appropriations to the rainy day funds.
And those are to be determined. It's just kind of
Yeah, it's
a maximum amount.
just, basically, they both have cash balances, and we're just asking to be able to appropriate that cash balance as a part of what's already been approved by the state.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Right, you're in the minutes
I
now.
got it.
Yeah.
You are in the minutes now, you made it.
So the motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay, motion carries. The next item is voided vendor check report.
Yes, just need this is the annual voided vendor check. And so just need an approval to go ahead and void these checks.
Okay.
I will make a motion to, I'll make a motion to approve the voided vendor.
You're getting.
I'm trying, I gotta be faster, the ladies.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, all right.
Oh.
All right, motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Now scrapping the dust. Number
Yep.
7.
Number 7 is the next one to bite the dust. Mrs. Anderson would like for permission to go ahead and sell scrap bus number 7.
We're gonna have like a ceremony.
We can. She's parked out there right now.
School board on a tour.
I cannot say that on this live stream right now. After how much this cost us.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Now we get to the fun one.
Yes, the Heinz Career Center would like permission to host a car show on May 9th on school property. And they're pretty revved up about it.
You work all day on it.
Right.
Yeah, it's on their flyer. It's the revved up car show.
But you didn't.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You want to say anything about it before?
No, I wanted to approve
Okay.
it first and then go. Yeah, it's actually, I'm pretty excited about it. A group of students and instructors are putting this idea together as a fundraiser for National Technical Honor Society is kind of the main focus to cover the cost of registration, so that the goal is that there's never a cost burden on the students to register for that. But then the ultimate goal is that this goes really big and we can offer a scholarship from that amount of money too.
I may have not read it carefully enough, but is it student vehicles or open to?
It's open to anyone, but the plan is to have different categories, just like you would have at any other car show. And one of the categories is going to specifically be just student vehicles.
Okay, good.
I like how you said you're revved up.
So, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the car show.
I'll second it.
All right, motion made second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries. Climate surveys.
We deployed our climate surveys for the second year in a row and received feedback from parents, students, faculty, and school staff, and summarized this. This is an AI summary of all of the data that was collected, both in comments as well as the selections as far as satisfaction. And so I'm just going to share this brief summary, and then I'll share more detailed data with the board, the building admin, the staff, and the community through our website and through our newsletters. But this was just an AI generated summary from all of this data that was collected from all of our families, students, and staff. Overall ratings remain strongly positive, indicating continued trust in safety, academics, and school culture. Written feedback highlights recurring themes, particularly around bullying perception, communication clarity, and academic differentiation. These concerns are common in school systems statewide. This feedback does not point to evidence of systematic failure, but is an opportunity to refine and improve in the areas of consistency, clarity, and transparency. Student survey results show strong overall satisfaction with safety, instruction, and school pride. Written feedback highlights recurring peer behavior concerns, particularly bullying perception, which students distinguish from overall safety. These signals guide targeted improvement in communication, supervision, consistency, and student support without indicating systematic climate failure. Staff responses reflect strong pride, workplace satisfaction, and confidence in school safety and instructional quality. Written feedback highlights recurring operational themes, particularly safety protocol consistency, communication flow, and compensation fairness, indicating a desire for system refinement rather than dissatisfaction with the organization. Overall sentiment demonstrates high trust paired with constructive expectations for continued improvement. And then I did a little bit deeper dive with respect to bullying concerns. In other words, I got in an argument with AI over the assessment, and
I know who lost.
so this characterized the number of comments and feedback, and it says the low number of bullying comments, especially when paired with strong safety ratings across parents, students, and staff, supports the conclusion that bullying is not a dominant district-wide concern. The overall safety climate is perceived positively, and the appropriate response is targeted refinement, not systematic overhaul. And so those were just AI-generated summaries from all of the results that came in. So I just wanted to share that as an update for the board and with the community is where we're at with the climate surveys. We take that input very serious. We read every comment and we examine everything to see what we can do to get better.
Yeah, and this is, the survey itself was identical to the one that was done.
Correct.
last.
Correct. And they are anonymous, except for I knew which one I filled out.
Don't tell us. But because of the change in respondents, can you see whether there's a change in the overall?
Yes. Yeah, I think the amount of you can just tell, and I don't have a percentage for you, but the number of concerns over bullying and the number of concerns over communication were less this year compared to last year.
Yeah, because that trending would be a good indicator in the future, year by year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't need any action on that.
Nope. Just if there's any other questions.
Okay, the board want to bring anything else up? If not, we're going to close. Next regular meeting is 7:00 on February, well,
It's March 19th.
yeah, March. I was going to say, thanks
That's
for setting me up on that one.
That was unintentional. I apologize. That was
Mark.
my error.
March 19th.
Couldn't happen to a more deserving person, but it was my
I know
fault.
that other mistake, but not that. March 19th.
March 19th.
I make the motion to adjourn. Second.
All right, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you all for coming. Thank the teachers and the students for us, if you could.
Do you want me to put that stuff to you guys?
Oh, yeah. Just a second.
Thanks, be careful.
Thank you.
Have a
Yeah,
good
thank you
evening.
very much.